together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two best friends get together every week or almost every week to try something that the other one loves. I'm Marcus and that's Nick.
Hi guys, welcome back to Now Try This. We're so excited to be back. We are a weekly podcast. We weren't here weekly for many reasons, but one of them was just because I wanted to honor this week's episode and I was too depressed to do the podcast. So that's what we're doing today, because today is powered by you, powered by the Patreon, patreon.com/Now Try This Cast. And that
are you bringing
where
dabbing back?
I just did a workshop
that long where dabbing came back.
I just did a corporate workshop and I made them dab, so it was fresh in my head.
A corporate workshop? You made them dab?
Yeah, 42 people.
Nick, that is
power.
Look,
that is power. It's a power play.
I've never been more proud of you as a minority than making a bunch of corporate assholes dab way after dabbing's dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great. But patreon.com/Now Try This Cast, where OldManRom won the challenge because he is a $5 tier member and he gets to submit every month with his fan challenge. And then everybody who's on the Patreon, just on $1 to become part of our community. There are articles that say your bottom tier should be $2 because the same people will always give you 2 instead of 1. But I'm like, no, they deserve to be there for $1. They deserve it. You deserve it. So join the Patreon and you get to vote every month. The poll is currently open right now. Against all odds, the color purple is winning for next month.
Is the color purple that timely movie?
I am shocked it's winning. Well, that's the point. Honestly, it's why we love this podcast. Because yes, we love doing timely things like Last of Us, the Matilda musical. We just did those a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. But we also love getting these random crazy things we never would have watched. Like March Comes In Like a Lion. Like somebody suggested an album. Like some rock album I've never heard of.
I have it.
Do you?
I own the vinyl of the album.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. I almost wish it would win over the color purple because it sounds like you have a take. But the only way for that to happen is for you to join the Patreon at patreon.com/Now Try This Cast. Join the Patreon. Join us. You get to join our Discord. You get to vote on challenges. You get to do tons of stuff. Come on over. Come on over. Come on over, baby.
Come on over. Come on. What a classic. What a classic song. Who sang that song?
Oh, don't put me on the spot, man.
Okay. No.
I don't. Oh God.
No.
Egg on my face. The Beach Boys. The Bee Gees.
No, I think it was the band Egg on My Face. They were like responsible for all the classics that you don't remember the name of.
Do you ever take an idiom or an old saying and then like you haven't heard it for a while, so then you're like, I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back. And I've been saying egg on my face consistently for months, and no one around me is doing that with me. So if you are a true fan of the podcast, egg on your face, join the Patreon.
I don't know why, but that feels sexually charged to me.
It is. That was the point.
It feels like a very sexual situation to have egg on your face.
It is. Crack the egg open, pour it down my gullet. Marcus.
Okay, with now new OnlyFans idea.
Okay.
Eggs on our faces.
Not even cracking them, just like putting them here and be like, ooh, look my egg.
We'll get like a boudoir photo shoot with like just sensual egg pics.
Inflation, dude. People want them. People want eggs. It's just a fact of life now. Guys, join us on our Twitch where we meet every month. I don't know. Just follow us on the things, the doobly doos. I don't freaking know. Okay, just do those things. Because we are here not to tell you how to follow us. We are here to tell you about ourselves and about our challenges. But before we get into March Comes In Like a Lion, which is our challenge for this week, Marcus, last week, we couldn't do the podcast because of me. Oh, okay. I was trying to segue it because it was 2 weeks ago because of you.
No, it was.
I wasn't trying to talk about me
because of me.
Okay.
Yeah, last
2 weeks ago we
could
have. So tell me why 2 weeks ago we couldn't.
Hold on 1 second. I feel like I clicked something and now I can't see your face anymore. I can't see
yours either. But fine, I will talk about last week.
Talk about last week. Don't make it depressing.
I won't. I had to cancel the podcast because I had to go to Pennsylvania to film another commercial. Pew, pew, pew. I can't talk about it.
There you go.
I don't think. I might. They didn't make me sign anything. I don't think. But just to be safe, I won't say what it was. You never freaking know.
They didn't make me sign anything. It's fine.
I don't know. I think I signed something. I forget. You have to sign a lot of things. I don't think I signed an NDA. But regardless, I think it's a national spot. So hopefully people will see it on TV. That's the goal. And actually, I feel like it might be good. A lot of the time you do these commercials and shit, you have no idea where it's going to come from, where it's going to go, how it's going to look. I felt good about this one. I got to be funny. I got to kind of roll with the Prince punches, improv a little bit. I wore a ridiculous costume. I wore a Hawaiian pink and pink matching set. I had a bathrobe and pajamas for another scene. I wore a bear onesie.
Yes.
A bear onesie for one of my scenes where I crawled into bed with a happy couple.
That is spokesman territory. That is a reoccurring character. That is,
I hope,
Travelocity lady, the gnome. That is, what's that insurance lady?
Flo?
That's Flo. That's Old Spice guy.
Yeah, it's close. It's the company is not quite that big, but it's big enough where this could come back if people like it. I hope.
We'll start a fake social media campaign that's like, who's this guy? And like we'll make it blow up. So that way everyone's like really curious about the new character and they want to see more.
Memified.
Yeah. Well, all we have to do, it's very easy to make things blow up. As you know from our very popular podcast. Here's what you have to do. Woo! We sit down and we spend like 2 days straight. We don't sleep. Okay. And we AI generate fan art of your character. And we just make a bunch of fake accounts, spam social media with your fan art and be like, I created Twitter just to share my fan art of this dude and show my love and appreciation. We do that over and over again. Create hundreds of accounts.
We show some kids in a Halloween costume as me, as this character.
Halloween costumes, make memes off of it and everything like that so that we create an echo chamber where it seems like this is very popular. And then we trick the company into hiring you again.
Perfect. Send it. Full send. Love it.
That's my long-term con, baby.
Marcus, before we get to why you were gone, because I think that's where we're going to have the most to say because I'm so curious. Next week's challenge. I'm going to tell it to you.
Okay.
Right now. I could have given you The Bear, a critically acclaimed Hulu show that I've been watching, that I just finished watching, that I thought was fantastic.
Yes.
I could give you the second season of Vox Machina, which I just finished, that I thought was it was honestly way better than the first. And I love the first season. I thought this was leagues above that. It finally got away from catering to fans. It felt like its own thing.
Okay.
I could give you Knock at the Cabin, which I am dying to see. It would give me an excuse
to see that movie.
It would give me an excuse. I could even give you Ant-Man. Timely. I'm going to probably see it this coming weekend. People are talking about it. It's polarizing. Marcus, your challenge for next week is none of those things.
Okay. Interesting.
Your challenge next week is a new Netflix show called The Perfect Match. Marcus,
I've never heard of this.
You know Love is Blind.
Okay.
You know Too Hot to Handle. You know the plethora of dating shows that on the Netflix cinematic universe that they have come up with. Well, now they have a show for us to consume all those people at the same time because, baby, it is Netflix's Bachelor in Paradise. They have taken these people and people from The Mole and people from 20-somethings Texas or something, people from Sunset Boulevard, and they are on a show on Netflix where they have to be in a couple at the end of every night or else they go home. The perfect match.
That's
now,
crazy.
I don't know if you're going to take anything away from it because you haven't watched any of this stuff, but I watched Love is Blind and a whole bunch of them are on there. And, if you want to watch a video or YouTube rundown of why some of the people suck or are cool, go for it. I'm not even going to tell you how much to watch, Marcus. If you go in and you can only watch one episode, That's enough for me to talk about, baby. That is more than enough.
I
But if
love
you go in
this. I
with
love it.
with a desire, with the like, I need to know if Georgia and Dom are still together. Finish the show, baby. Finish the show.
Okay.
It's 12 episodes. It goes fast because it's shitty reality TV. You can
Hell
play
yeah.
a game while you're doing it.
Hell yeah.
You can watch
hell
on the
yeah,
train.
Hell yeah.
You watch as much as you can, and as much as you can. Not can.
Okay. I got it.
And that's what
I'm
next week's challenge will
very
be.
excited.
The Perfect Match on Netflix.
I'm very excited.
Oh, you should be. It's
Mhm.
fucking wild. Oh, excuse my language.
It is
All right.
bleeping wild.
Marcus, where were you?
Nick, I could not record because I was in India. You hear
That's
that?
another country.
You hear that, Indian fans who have been harassing us after RRR? I went to your country. I went looking for you.
Did you find any fans of the show in India?
Oh man, I was harassed and mobbed nonstop. I could barely walk across the street. So someone been like, "Oh my god, you're the guys that talked about RRR." I'm like, "Yes, that is me. I'm one of the people."
You're one of them.
No, I went to India. I went for a wedding. Shout out to Pete and Anuja, a beautiful couple, wonderful wedding.
You already got
I
invited
had
to
a
the wedding. You don't
blast.
have to suck up anymore.
No, I
You could be
genuinely
honest.
really like them as people, and you're going to get to
Aw.
meet them when we go to PAX.
I am excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm legitimately excited. You have talked very raving things about them. So don't disappoint me, Pete and Anuja. If you lose Marcus as a friend. That's the way it works. Impress me.
But India was beautiful. It was like really beautiful. The food was incredible. The sights were beautiful.
Yeah, was the food incredible? Like,
The food was incredible. When I first went there, I feel like I messaged you guys. I was like, okay, look, I feel like you know how people are when they go to visit other countries where they're like, oh, you won't believe the chai tea from India is just so unique and
Tastes
nothing
like chai
in
tea.
America could ever compare to.
tastes like
It's-
non-sugary bland chai tea, I'm sure.
Look, it tastes better. I'm not
Did
gonna. It tasted better, but like
It's still chai tea.
it's still chai tea. It's not. It didn't taste that crazy different. It's
Sure,
just
sure,
a different thing. It's like McDonald's is not real burgers, but you go have McDonald's for McDonald's. It's American Chinese food is different than actual Chinese food.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want American Chinese food. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
How
the
was it?
same
Was
thing.
it good? Did you have a lot of
It was
traditional stuff?
Great. We had everything under the sun. We had just regular restaurant food. We went to like a Michelin star restaurant where it felt like the menu. Like I gave a little plate of like 3, pieces of
are
little
you?
bread, and they were like, I'm going to explain the dish before you eat it. You have been served a caviar with curry chutney. And I'm like, whoa, okay, let's go for a ride.
Ooh, fish eggs, yeah.
We didn't have caviar, but it was very, very good. And I was just like so impressed across the board with
I
everything.
love that.
Also,
Amazing.
Uber is king in India.
Really?
I spent so much money on Ubers getting everywhere, and that surprised me because there's a lot of taxi so going to India as a foreigner is a great and wonderful experience, but you are targeted immediately by everyone because
100%.
you're bringing in foreigner money, and the value of $1 goes a long way in India. So you can afford to kind of spend more than the average person in some of these areas can.
Yeah.
So you're targeted a lot. So taxi cabs will be like, okay, well, come in my taxi, and then they charge you an insane amount of money for the taxi ride, and you kind of they won't let you leave until you pay. So Uber is a safe way of getting around in India.
The correct rate.
Yes. Actually, it was too cheap. If I'm being honest, a lot of the rides were 20-minute, 30-minute rides, and it was $1. It was $1.50 most of the time. And I know it was insane. And you know it's $60 here for that trip.
It was a 35-minute ride. It cost me $35 to get here today.
Yep. It is.
Whoa.
absolutely insane. So I was like, you know what? I was balling. I was just paying for everyone's Ubers. I was like, yeah, let's get an Uber together. I got Uber XLs all the time. Those were like $3. It was great.
Whoa, big spender. That's crazy.
I was
man.
a big spender.
That's wild.
Went to the Taj Mahal. We went to a bunch of what is it called? Tombs and things like that. Yeah. It was so nice. I had so much fun.
Now, did anyone look at you like you were a weird alien that shouldn't have been?
Mausoleums is the word. Sorry.
That didn't belong there?
Oh, 100%. I am 6'4" and
You stand out.
I am Puerto Rican, but I am white and I shine like a diamond. And so I had a couple of people ask me to get their pictures taken with them.
Shut up, really?
Yeah. They were just like staring at me. Well, I just had to come out of the bathroom and I was just kind of waiting around for our group to get out of the bathroom. And then a couple of guys were like, hey, like, can I take a picture with you? And I was like, sure, yeah, whatever. And I was like super friendly. And they were like standing next to me and I put my arms around them and I was like, hey, we got a picture.
And then you saw them text their friends like, I took a picture with an NBA star.
and then they had the guy taking the picture was like, can I get one too? I was like, of course, everyone gets one. I was hyped.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you also should have paid them $1.
I honestly should have. It was fantastic. And it was funny because that became like a thing. Like I think I might have been one of the first people, if not the first person to get asked to have my picture taken with somebody. And then throughout the rest of the day, people were like, it became a little bit of a contest where people were like, okay, well, I'm going to get my picture taken without like trying to seem desperate.
Mhm.
And it was fun.
I love that.
It was a really good time. Also, the road was closed to the Taj Mahal because of the G24 summit.
Oh, sure.
So we had to like pretend that we were staying at a hotel that was nearby because the police weren't letting us go. So they're like, if they come on and interrogate you, you just lie and say that you're staying at this hotel. I didn't know the hotel's name, but I could point to it. So they didn't actually come on the bus or anything like that. But it was a real like tense moment for a while there. We were like,
whoa.
And it was a long road trip too. So I was like, did we just drive 4 hours and now we have to turn around and not get to see the Taj Mahal? But
you drove 4 hours to get to the Taj Mahal?
5 hours because it was another like hour after that.
Was that worth it?
Yes, it was.
Really? You're
Mhm.
not one to usually say those kinds of things are worth it. That's so surprising to me. Really?
It was worth it. Yeah.
You're not just saying it because people are watching that would judge.
It is a once in a lifetime experience. It is one of the great
Really?
wonders of the
Wow.
world. And I
Sure.
had a blast.
Wow, I love that. I love that for
Mhm.
you. I love that for the trip. That's amazing.
Yeah. Also, driving in India is absolutely insane. And if you could drive in India, you could drive anywhere in the world.
Did you drive?
No, but I was in Ubers in the front seats a lot and it was terrifying. We got into one car accident. The other group got into another car accident. But it's like you're never driving that fast in India because there's just so many cars. Lanes are suggestions. So there's like 4 cars in a 2-car lane thing in a 2-lane road. And it is like, it is wild. It is a wild experience. But they're not driving that fast so that cars aren't doing that much damage. So like they hit each other. The 2 drivers look at each other. They like yell a little bit to kind of test the waters. And they both realize they're not going to do anything about it. And they move on. Like that is just how it works.
Oh, you hit me.
Hey, fuck you. You hit me. Fuck you. You hit me. Oh, okay. See ya.
All right. See ya. See ya. Wow. That sounds crazy.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
I've been to Mexico, but I've never been that far out of the country. That's crazy.
I did not get the shits. That was my main concern. Was like
At all?
getting the shits. No shits.
Did you just bottled water?
Just bottled water. Well, see, here's the thing too. They were like, don't have the hotel water. Don't brush your teeth with it. I was brushing my teeth. I was gargling.
This Mr. Moneybags, big tall ass, taking pictures, spender over here. Just
It's great.
Gargling up the water.
It was great.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's actually very exciting, Lexi's 30th birthday is coming up
Okay.
in October. But because she's a planner, she just bought our plane tickets and is currently, as we speak now, watching because she's booking our hotel our hotel to London and Scotland.
Oh, that's
a week
fun.
in October.
That's really
Yeah.
exciting.
It's real. It's too exciting. I don't know how to think about it. Like, I don't know how to like react. She's like telling me all these things about these things we can do. She's like, from the Notting Hill movie, we can go here and the restaurant they
Mhm.
ate at about time. And look at this
Oh,
restaurant. Look at
that's
this hotel.
fun.
Look at the Highlands. Look at this. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
cool.
It is
Yeah,
overwhelming.
cool.
It is very
I'm
overwhelming.
so overwhelmed. I have no concept of being that far away from home. When I
Yeah.
get there, I'm going to be a child in awe and rapture. But right now, I'm not giving her anything she wants because she's just like, "Are you excited?" And I'm
That
like,
is fun.
"Yeah, sounds expensive."
I think that's the hard part about traveling for the wedding was like I was having a great time, but it was like thing to thing to thing. We were doing this, we're doing that. Everything was kind of planned a little bit, and I kind of felt like a lot of it wasn't in my hands, you
Yeah.
know. So it would be nice to go on a trip in another country that is like we are planning
Just
it.
to
We are getting
wander
to
and-
decide. We are getting to wander.
I think when you take a vacation, you should spend a full day at the hotel. I don't know if anyone agrees with me. I know Lexi doesn't because I thought about it
A
in
full
Mexico.
day at the hotel?
Yeah, you swim in the pool, you get room service, you get a massage. Maybe you go into the town, maybe you like pop around at a restaurant, but most people, including Lexi, are like, we book up the day. We go to the beach, then we go to this
Yeah.
excursion, then we go here, and
Yeah.
then we sleep. And I'm like, no, can't we just relax? My idea of a vacation is to relax.
Yeah.
One day out of a week, if we're spending a week somewhere, give me one day just in the town, just in the hotel, which is why Portland, when we went, was my favorite because she was a little sick and we were only
Mhm.
there for 3 days. And it's Portland. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was just spent like wandering around town. And I was like, this is fucking lovely. Yes, Darren, thank you. A week-long vacation, you need to spend at least a day's worth.
Yes.
Maybe it's not a
yes.
full day.
I agree with a day's worth. I think that like interspersed in between events, I think you need time to go back to the room, rest for a little
Yeah.
bit, come
Couple
then
hours
go out
here,
again.
couple hours
Exactly.
there,
Yes,
sit on
yes,
the
yes.
balcony, read a book, get
Yes.
some room service, sleep in. You know,
I agree.
vacation's all I ever wanted.
Yeah.
Vacation's all I ever needed, right? Come on.
Yeah. But then you're not having an efficient vacation.
I don't care. You're
It's-
never going to see everything.
But you
Explain
can
to
see
me
a
one
huge chunk of
scenario.
everything.
Okay, you can take your huge chunk back, and then I won't be tired when I get back from my vacation.
Yeah,
I
that's
shouldn't
true.
need it. So many people need a vacation. Tell me you did not
That
feel
is
like
a
you needed a
catchphrase.
vacation when you got from
That-
vacation,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Come on.
100%. You're right.
Why?
You're right. You're right.
For who?
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just how I feel. And I told Lexi, and she was like, I will give you this time sometime at the hotel, and we can do nothing. And I was like, great.
Hell yeah.
Just give me some.
Just some. Just some time.
We're spending all this money on hotel. We should spend a little time.
I agree. I think
Especially if
that,
you buy a nice one. Like our place in Mexico was so nice. We didn't swim in the pool.
like,
We didn't,
yeah.
we didn't do anything.
I feel like when you need the breaks, you need the rest, you need the time.
I think so.
Because I think I really enjoyed India because Darren had a lot of like bridesmaids responsibilities, and I got to sleep, and I got to hang out and read,
Oh,
and I got to play video games in
cool.
the hotel room, and it was good.
amazing.
Yeah, it was. I was like, "Fuck yeah, sick! This is what I want. I need.
Yeah,
I
you get
need
to
my
relax, then
me
you get to
time."
go do something because it's on the itinerary. And then you're like,
Exactly.
oh, you got to go do this
Yep,
thing.
yep,
Oh,
yep.
bye.
Yep.
Oh, gosh, what will I do? Oh, gosh, what will I... Hanging out.
I think it was funny because at one point Darren's friends had come to find me in the room, and they were like, "Oh, hey, like we feel bad, we're looking out for you. Want to make sure you have company. We know Darren's busy. Do you want to come hang out with us?" I was like in my PJs in bed reading my book. I was like, "No, it's okay. Go explore and do your thing. I'm having a blast right here." It was
And that
great.
was the moment everyone felt sorry for you, but really, you were the one winning.
100%.
I love that. All right, Marcus, without further ado, I think it's time to get into March Comes In Like a Lion. March Comes In Like a Lion is a manga from the same name in the original Japanese. It is 3 Gatsu no Lion. It was a manga released in 2007 in Young Animal, and it was turned into an anime in 2016. and dub shortly after. And we are here to talk about, there are 16 volumes, 2 seasons so far. I think there's been sprinklings. A 3rd season is coming. Marcus, did you know anything about this anime before you watched it? Have you ever heard of it?
The only reason I heard of it is because OldManRom had been trying hard to get us to watch this. So every couple of months, like every other month in the Patreon, it would pop up again. March comes in like a lion. March comes in like a lion. And I type up all the little like descriptions of the shows. So I have been kind of like eyeing it. I'm like, okay, OldManRom, I'm interested. And it just kept not winning. And this month, it finally won, and I was kind of excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, that's all I knew. I did not know anything about it.
I will answer the question as well, and my answer is exactly the same. I was not. I think we are passer-buyers in the anime field. I think it's funny because
buyers.
Hold on, listen.
Okay, I'll let you finish, and then I'll attack you.
Okay, in normal circles, we're freaking weebs. We are anime aficionados. We know so much. We watch so much. In the anime world, I never feel like an expert. People who are true anime fans watch everything, it feels like, or at least is read up on everything and like know a little bit of Japanese and like go study there for a couple months. It seems so intense that when I'm in an anime true circle, I am out of place. But when I'm in a regular circle, I'm out of place because I know too much about anime. That's how I feel. So
you know what I have to say about that?
What?
Ohio gozaimasu o genki desu ka? I know a little bit of... That's the only thing I know how to say in Japanese, baby! I am the ultimate weeb! You can't take that away from me. You don't speak for me, say that everybody knows everything. That's YouTubers. It's their job. They make money off of watching this shit and knowing this shit. That's fine. The average anime connoisseur like us, the average human being who has a job and shit to do, they don't watch every anime. They don't watch every.
You know
anime.
what? You're actually really right. And most of the time, regular anime fans cling to animes of their past for reference, right?
Yes.
Like we talk about DBZ and Naruto way more than we talk about new stuff coming out. And then every once in a while, something breaks through, like Spy X Family or something, or Jujutsu Kaisen, and we'll give it a shot. You're right. Okay, 100%. Fine.
100%.
I will keep my anime fan card.
We're just old generation anime people. So I feel like when we were in the heyday of our anime, we watched everything. Right, because you and I watched everything when Naruto and Bleach were out. We weren't just watching
Toonami
Naruto and Bleach.
Adult Swim.
Yeah,
there was literally all the anime that existed for us, and we watched all of it.
We watched every anime that existed, and
from
the kids
Zatch
can't do
Bell
that.
to Witch Hunter Robin to freaking Code Geass to Gundam to DBZ, Full Metal, Bleach. This was our era. You're right, and now I have no idea what's going on.
But no kid is watching every anime now.
Like, sometimes it feels like it, dude. Sometimes it really
too
feels
much.
like it.
There's too much going on right now. And they have more time, so they're watching more anime. But it's the same thing with Netflix and all these other like issues. There's just the market's saturated.
And sometimes they're just going back and watching the stuff we watched because it was
exactly. Hunter
like
is still popular, baby.
It's still fun. Somebody when I was teaching a class of high schoolers, and one of them said they were watching Blue Exorcist. No, Black Butler.
Oh, okay, Black Butler.
I don't know. One of those two, but like a 10-year-old anime.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is what you're watching? All right, cool.
Hell yeah.
So
Tenchi Muyo. That's what you need to recommend. Tenchi Muyo to everybody. Underrated anime of all time.
Which one?
The one from our age.
It's so complicated.
Toonami.
Honestly, have you went back and watched that?
No, because it's problematic.
It's probably very problematic.
It's probably problematic.
It's probably very problematic.
Any harem anime is problematic.
Ooh. But this, March Comes in Like a Lion, is not a harem. It is about Rei, a young shogi professional who is either, I think he's 15. I don't know if that's middle school or high school over there, but he's 15. He's a professional. He lives on his own. And this story follows him as he plays shogi and he tries to connect with the world in spite of mental health problems.
Yeah! Another episode about depression.
I first want to say right off the bat, I
Uh-huh.
totally understand why we were given this anime. We tickled the balls of a silent voice. I rave about Your Name endlessly. We
Mhm.
talk about our depression, and when we talk about a show like Chainsaw Man, we talk about it from this perspective of trauma and how the things we've gone through we see in this
Uh-huh.
protagonist, and that's why we love it. We
Yeah.
describe animes we love because of what this anime is. However, this anime is only that, and I was shocked by it. I am 11 episodes in. We watched 11 episodes for the podcast. I am shocketh. I am
Shooketh?
shooketh.
I feel like
I am shocked.
I have so
I'm
much to
shooked.
say. Shooked. I have so much to say about this, and I feel like we'll have interesting discussions about this anime for sure. But I too was like, okay, we got an anime about Shogi. What's the deal? What's gonna make it exciting? What's gonna be the twist and the turn? What's happening?
Is it gonna be like Go, where there's a past entity possessing him?
Or is it gonna be like Yu-Gi-Oh, where there's a past
where he has to-
entity possessing him? Is it gonna
Or is it gonna be like Jujutsu Kaisen, where there's a past entity possessing him?
Look, you bring an anime board game kind of game to me, then I know that there's a guy who's gonna come and possess him, the main character, and make him better at the game, especially Shogi. I was like, oh shoot, there's gonna be an ancient Shogi lord who's gonna come in and be like, I can teach you the ways of Shogi, young one, and cure your
Or-
depression.
Or I thought it would be a slice of life anime, which we also love. The Spy X Family episodes where they're just going to the groceries are our favorite. Your Name, we love this movie, and most of what it's about is dating.
Yeah,
You know, I thought it would be like, oh, so Shogi is just gonna be the backdrop, and then we're gonna see like all these like coming of age stories or like all these other things.
Yeah. This is slice of life. It's just slice of my life, your life, depressing life that I don't want to watch on my free time.
I would argue that it's not slice of
necessarily.
life. I would argue that it's not slice of life.
What is slice of life? Let me look up the true definition.
Here, I think slice of life is going through the mundane and finding the beauty in it. This show,
No, it says a realistic representation of everyday experience in a movie, play, or book. That's
well, this
pretty.
doesn't
This is
seem-
pretty slice of life, then.
oh, I'm sorry. Is it everyday occurrence that your family dies and the only way you're able to live is to play shogi?
Sometimes.
Whatever. You're right. Okay, I take it back. Fine, it's slice of life. Fine, it's slice of life. So,
Slice of life
I
doesn't
just-
have to be good life, I guess. Technically.
Hold on. I'm so sorry. I'm trying my best here, OldManRom. I am trying my best. Because clearly we have a lot of feelings about this show. And clearly it means a lot to you. You just said you think of it as one of your feel-good shows?
You know what? I agree with OldManRom.
What?
Yeah, I agree with OldManRom. It's
You feel good watching this?
okay. I want you to close your eyes for a second.
Literally?
Do this experiment with me. Close your eyes.
Okay. I'm closing my eyes.
Okay. I'm gonna do a little IFS therapy work with you, right? I want you to think of a place when you were like down, when you were down really hard. When
Got it.
you got it. Your lowest low, maybe not your lowest low, but that time where lows
Wait,
were
you
common.
want the lowest low or
No,
not?
no, no. I don't want to hear it. I just want you to get
No, do you want me to bitch in my
No,
lowest
no,
low
no,
or not?
no.
I'm getting
A
differing
time where-
information.
A time where lows were reoccurring. Not the lowest low, because sometimes lowest lows can be surrounded by good moments. But we're
Understood.
like,
Got it.
you got it?
Got
You
it.
got it. Okay, you're there, right?
Mhm.
You put on this show. Does it get worse or does it give you hope?
I don't want to answer your question because I feel like
Okay.
it's rude.
Okay.
Why don't you answer the question?
I'll answer the question then. I feel like for me, I was watching this show. And we'll go into more details later and how we actually felt about it. But I feel like I had to kind of take a step back and think about it from like if I was watching this when I didn't have hope for myself, when I was kind of at a low point in my life, and I didn't believe that like anyone could ever love me, and I, just in my own feelings all the time, things like that. And I was like, you know what? I could see someone getting an amount of hopefulness from this anime. Being able to see that this character who had his family taken away from him, who is struggling, who feels alone, who has depression, who like doesn't think that he's worthy of any love, and has all these people in his life kind of telling him that they love him and they want him there, and they actively, like when he doesn't want to show up to their house, they actively do things to make sure that he does show up, and they do spend time together, and that he knows that he's not a burden. I could see this giving me a little bit of hope that one day I too would find that.
I appreciate that take so much. You being able to take a step back means a lot about you and your character and where you stand in life. No, I agree with you. I there have been moments of my life where I think I would have enjoyed this. I would have related to this. This show is such a funny thing that I don't think I've ever really seen. And I've watched a lot of sad stuff.
Mhm.
I like sad stuff. You know that. I
Mhm.
like cathartic, feeling like hopeful. I like what you're describing. This show for me, though, I understand what the show's doing, right?
Mhm.
But when your main character is dissociative, his form of depression, and I'm not a shrink, I'm probably off base, I could probably be wrong. But it seems like to me, the form of depression he has in this show is out of body. He doesn't feel human. He doesn't like feel like he's living, right? Like, and people who have had like clinical depression know what that's like. It's honestly, I've almost never seen it portrayed the right way in media. It almost never is.
Mhm.
And this is pretty close.
Yeah.
But watching a show where the main character is dissociative is hard for me because I don't know anything about Ray. I'm 11 episodes in, and I'm like, our main character is depressed because he doesn't know how to feel and he can't feel. So I don't know how he feels, right? Like he's sad, but like he hasn't come to. And honestly,
Yeah.
it probably comes. Like I can see how at the end of the first season, and I saw all the reviews, everyone's like, by the time you get to the second season, it's a masterpiece. And I'm like, I totally get it. He probably has those things. But now as I'm watching, I don't have anything to latch on to because the only things that there are to latch on to is like a kooky friend that brings him in with her family. And I'm like, well, that was just a crazy random happenstance.
Mhm.
A family that he doesn't have any association with. Now, at the end of what we watch, we're finally starting to get some family stuff, and I'm finally starting to able to latch onto something. But large swaths of the show is Ray describing how he doesn't feel anything,
Yeah.
which is sad and like poignant. And there's been times in my life like I've never been wealthy enough to been diagnosed as clinically depressed. I think the long and the short of the truth of it, because the truth is I don't think that many people who think they're depressed are depressed. Most people who are depressed have depressing things happen and they are depressed, but depression as like the sickness is like a very specific thing. And I think this character has it, and I relate to that. And I have had moments where I've been like this, and I totally get it. But like, I don't find hope in watching this person not help themselves. Like Ray isn't helping him. Like Ray is refusing to do anything to help himself this whole time. And that makes me angry. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me cathartic. It makes me angry because I'm like, Ray, you have things here in front of you and you don't want to be helped.
I think
And I've been so bad that I haven't wanted help.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see that. I want to see someone take the help. So I'm inspired to go take the help.
I think you're touching on an important part of this anime, or not important, but something that sets this anime apart from other experiences is that if this were a movie, I feel like you would get that cathartic release that you are sort of seeking at the end.
You would have to. A silent voice does it, right?
Silent voice does it. It deals with depression and things like that, and then you get a cathartic ending. But this being a TV show, I'm sure that comes later down the line. But in the first 11 episodes, it definitely feels like a slow burn. We are watching him just sort of have depression and be depressed. And you're right, there you do, as a viewer, get that feeling of, okay, you need to be doing something about this. You should be doing something about this. But like you touched on, that is a relatable thing. There's so many people out there who have depression, who are going through this, who you want to just yell, like, get help, do better. But there are circumstances in place that don't necessarily like allow people like that to do that. A lot of times you're your own roadblock. A lot of times it's like you said earlier about your own situation. It's a financial issue. I mean, this kid is 15 years old. Like, it could also just be an age thing where he doesn't know enough about the world and know enough about other people having similar experiences to know that he should even be seeking help. 17s. Either way, he's a teen. If there's a teen in that number, it's too young. So I feel like I could see why this could be frustrating for you, given that it is such a slow burn. I feel like
you're right. You're right. I'm it just makes me frustrated. I don't know how else to describe
100%.
it. You know?
And I think that like some of that own frustration could be sort of like internalized frustration, right? Mm-hmm. You're 100%. Just like you're thinking about the times where you were depressed. You're thinking about like, if only someone was screaming at me to maybe do something more about it, you know? So I totally understand why this sort of like triggers a particular frustration in you.
Yeah.
That I get.
And I think I feel bad because I feel like a lot of people who probably gravitate towards this are, I think most people with mental illness, and I'm categorizing, it could be again off base, look for camaraderie ship. They want to know that they're not strange. They want to know that it's what they're feeling is real. They want to know that it has happened before, it will happen again, that it is something that happens, that it's real, right? I'm not one of those people. I don't I don't care if you have experienced what I experienced. I don't find comfort in that.
Okay.
You know, and I don't know what, honestly, let's turn this into shrink hour. What the hell does that say about me? Like I don't care.
Okay.
Like one reason we're friends, you and me.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we've gone through enough things where we've shared things and we both have roadblocks and hangups that affect our everyday lives, that we know that we can trust each other. We know that there are things that we can see of ourselves in each other. It's why we're friends, right? And that's beautiful and that's lovely and I love that. But that doesn't help my depression.
Okay.
And I know I'm different. I know I'm weird. I know a lot of people that helps them. I know that a lot of people that are like, wow, I'm not alone. But I don't know if it's my kind of depression. I don't know if it's my outlook on life. I don't know what it is, but I'm still depressed, whether or not you are.
This show's not going to cure anyone's depression, but it is.
Marcus, shut the fuck up. Are you telling me I couldn't go to the reviews right now and half of the people are be like, this helped me, this is what got me through it? Yes, people feel that way, and I totally get it.
I get what you're saying. You for a second I was with you. I was like, yes, okay, I get what you're saying. It's not like what you need, and this show can definitely help people feel seen, right?
Yeah, totally.
No, but then you turn around where you made it seem like the show was going to cure people's depression.
No. But I am more than sure hundreds, maybe thousands of people have watched the show to its completion and gotten help because of it. I'm more than sure.
Yeah,
I'm more than sure. You know, it's well made. It hits on something in a unique way, and it diagnoses a very specific kind of trauma and depression that you rarely see in anime and film and anything.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that just to talk about, I guess, my own experiences sort of through the lens of this anime and to kind of give OldManRom some backing a little bit. I think that personally, I also felt like I related a lot to this protagonist because I sort of have a more disassociative kind of issue and I have PTSD. And I think that this, and which also can cause depression and things like that too, but it's just a little different. And I feel like this show feels very similar to the way I experience my version of depression because it's just different, and it's not like it's still depression. Like you're sad and you don't know how to help yourself. You know,
you don't have to downplay it. It's specific. It is.
So I feel like watching this show, I definitely saw a lot of that kind of representation that I don't normally see in media, because usually when you think of disassociation, you think of things like Split, you think of horror movies a lot of times, you think of a character that is crazy and that has multiple personalities, and a lot of times disassociating has nothing to do with having multiple personalities. You just kind of like check out, right? And you're still able to function and move through the world while checked out.
I did love the one moment when he was sick and everything was so bad and he was like, I know I need to eat, but he was just like, I just can't.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's that simple and complex at the same time, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I just can't. You just can't do
exactly. That line and having that moment is like, I'm sure it makes a lot of young people who are going through this kind of thing feel seen in a way, because their family, they probably have family members who are telling them like, just get up and go walk for a walk. Like that's going to cure your depression, or like, just go do this thing, go do that thing. And what I like about this is that no one is doing that to him. It's not like a lot of anime, a lot of other things that kind of like touch upon mental illness and things like that. Kind of then the solution is either it's cured by magic or something weird, or like they're just like, actually, like through the power of friendship, I've instantly cured my depression and all of my mental illness. And this is like, no, it feels like a struggle that he has. And yes, he has friends who have come in and like they force themselves into his life, and but it seems like a constant battle that he's going through with them.
I really love that you said that, because now that you're saying that, that is really true to life, right? Like, I don't want to speak for you, so tell me if I'm off base, but for me, it's, I've had depression since I remember being in high school or middle school. I remember the house I was in, but I remember I got home and I laid on the floor and I just couldn't get up. I couldn't do it. There was there's nothing wrong. There's nothing upsetting me. I wasn't upset. I wasn't sad. I just couldn't do the thing of living at that moment.
Yeah.
And I've been this way forever, and most people don't know it because I am humorous from time to time. I tell jokes. I am good at small talk. Yeah. I am an actor. I do all these things. I'm good at my job. They was like, Nick's great. It's just and then the people who really know me, like you, Lexi, Joseph, all the boys, you all know have depression. I get depressed. I get moody as fuck, and I get sad, and sometimes I cannot do the thing.
Yeah, and
but no, that wasn't even the point. The point was, you have helped me so much throughout my life. But there hasn't been a moment like what would happen in a movie or TV show where you sat me down and you said, Nick, I can tell you're really going through something, and man, it gets better. I'm your friend and you're going to work through it. And Marcus, you are leaps and bounds past where you were a couple years ago, years before that. And I've been around for a good chunk of it here now. Wow. I've been, this is fucking over 10 years.
Long friendship.
But I've been here. And I know I've helped in my own way. I know I've been there for you every time I could. But I've never sat you down and said, now, Marcus, It seems like you're disassociating a little bit, and you might be suffering from PTSD. So bring it in and let's work through that together. You're so right, and that's what happens in movies and
Yeah.
TV shows, and
Yeah.
that's not happening anywhere in the show. And it's what's frustrating me, but also I can't deny that is kind of beautiful because that is really
It's
how it
kinda
happens.
Nice. It's kind of nice. Like there's just oh my, I have so much to say about stuff. But there's the friend who's like his rival, and it's just like I've decided that I'm your friend. I was like, that's kind of dick for me. Like in college, I feel like you kind of just decided you were my friend. And
I
then you
wasn't
just-
that obnoxious. But
No,
yes,
you were
that
not.
is what I
You were
said.
definitely not that obnoxious.
Yeah.
But you just
didn't
kept
stop
showing up.
around. Yeah.
You kept
I
showing
decided.
up. There was moments in college where I was alone in my room and I didn't want to be like, I was just like sulking and I didn't want to be bothered and I couldn't get up. And you're like, I'm outside. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you're outside? I'm inside. What's okay? Cool. We've established our locations. You're like, no, I'm outside. I'm here to pick you up. We're going to go hang out at my apartment. And I was like, okay, and like there was an amount of
It was always so funny
convincing-
because you were like, oh, but I gotta clean my room
Yep.
again, even though I just
had to
cleaned
clean
it
my room.
yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I got milk in the fridge, and if I don't drink it, it's gonna go bad. I swear to God, you did that to me once. I swear to God, you've said that. you definitely bailed because of milk. I swear to God, dude.
100%. I probably spilled it somewhere or something.
But yeah, you're right. That's right.
Yeah, and
But
so
the
watching
friend.
the anime, I was just like, yeah, no, this is Nick for me at a certain point in my life. Like, and it feels realistic, and I really did enjoy that.
And even like something that I didn't like, but again, now that we're talking about it, I'm able to process it. I'm able to give credit to it. Hinata, is that her name? Yeah, Hinata and her family. No, Akari, Hinata, and Momo. Those are the sisters. Akari is the oldest one, right? Or it's
think
not
so.
the old. Whatever, whoever the oldest freaking one is.
Oldest sister.
The older sister randomly found Ray one day and brought him home, and now he's like a part of the family. And you're supposed to see all these like things and how they're being a family. I don't even know. I don't want to say normal. Whatever the word is, like they are not being what he is doing there, and that's supposed to be his like parlay into what they are doing. And I see all that, but like the thing that bothers me about it is like, what if you don't randomly have a person pick you up? There's so many people that randomly don't have a person pick them up. I was watching a news segment, and one of their arguments was about how suicide rates in men are like 4 times women, and how there's this whole thing going on right now where most men don't have a close friend. Like if you ask
I've
them,
been seeing a lot
they
about
don't
that
have a close
too.
friend. But women do. And why is that? What's going on culturally? Like what's happening? And it's a huge discussion, but like it does dawn on me like Ray's lucky,
Mhm.
And like I feel bad for him, and I want to be there for him, but I'm also like, I didn't have someone just show up and just invite me to their house for freaking Moki. That's so not real. Like I'm supposed to be watching this super real, depressing, like super authentic thing, and then it's like, what? It's like the thing you described. You know what? There is that one little bit of magic happening, and it is the family just showing up, right?
Yeah.
And I know I'm supposed to forgive it. I know it's a TV show, it's a convention. I understand, but it did make me mad because I'm like, no one showed up for me.
I mean, did they not show up for you, or were you just not allowing anybody to show up for you?
No, I feel like everybody that's in my life, I actively went out and found them.
That's fair.
And attached myself to them like I
but then
attached to
after
you.
that,
Ask Joseph. Oh, Joseph is my brother, best friend since 2nd grade. He'll tell you the same story you just told about me. I showed up one day and I didn't leave. Like I made it happen for me, I would have loved a fucking beautiful family to just show up and say, oh, come on over whenever you want. We'll feed you. As I'm freaking gaining weight left and right because I'm binging with my depression. That would have been great.
I mean,
So
but,
maybe-
okay, did you have any teachers or anybody like that who kind of like
No.
any coaches? Any
Dude, if
life
we wanted to
people?
have a therapy session about it, like I never had that, and it pissed me off all the time. I never got mentored. I was always overlooked.
Mhm.
No one ever believed in me that way. I always came up from the bottom by myself.
Mm-hmm.
which is why I kind of have that attitude about stuff. I do.
Yeah.
Because I had to. Like, I never had it. Found family, OldManRom. Yeah,
Found
exactly.
family.
I'll just read what he says. I haven't even read it. I'll just read it. Found family, is that the term you're looking for? I get what you mean, that sometimes media is meant to be cheering is depressing because not everyone has the positives. I can still take the good parts and enjoy it, but at least logically I can see that. Well, I appreciate that. Even though I know it's your favorite show and I'm talking about a huge problem I have, but like, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I understand where you're coming from, right? Like
Yeah.
statistically, not everyone has this experience, and there could be a bummer version of the show out there that is just like all negative, where it's just a kid in a room the whole time and he's just depressed and he eventually doesn't even make it out to play shogi, the one thing
Can
he
I be
loves.
honest? I think I would like that better.
No, you wouldn't.
I'm not even joking. Like, I
No,
think I
you
would find
wouldn't.
that cathartic.
No, you wouldn't.
I think I would.
Oh my god.
My problem with the show was it was so real, and then he has everything.
I don't but the thing is, like, I think that it's trying to show if he didn't have everything, right?
Right.
Your
I
life
mean, he doesn't have
is
everything.
good
He has
now,
a couple. He has a couple
relatively,
things.
right?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, and I fucking bust my ass for it.
Okay. But things can change. Things can turn out for the positive, right?
Sure.
So a version of this you would have liked to see is maybe him pull himself up by his bootstraps and do that. But that isn't necessarily.
I mean, that phrase has just such a negative connotation.
Exactly.
But yeah, you're right. I would have.
But that is not necessarily how this works, right? It's small cumulative changes over time that then your exposures to your friends, even though you work so hard to make that happen and you brought them into your life, they stayed. And I think maybe have contributed some positivity to your life. And you're not having to constantly
100%.
foster those. You know what I mean? So
that's not what I'm arguing, though. But you're 100% right.
It is your version, even though you worked harder for it, it is your version of found family. And I could see that you're like projecting onto the show and maybe not liking it because of that.
Dude, I am hardcore project. Are you fucking kidding me? I am railing. Everything I'm railing on this show has nothing to do with the merits of the show. It has nothing to do with the quality of the show. It all has to do with personal taste and personal things that happen in my mental health journey.
But that being said, I feel like I of that version of the show could exist, and I could see that. But I think I like this version of the show because my cat is say hello. He was walking on the keyboard. Okay.
Cute.
Okay. So I would say that this version of the show works a little bit better because it shows the thing that isn't normally shown in TV shows, where even if you have people who love you, even if you're surrounded by like people who want to spend time with you, the depression doesn't let you hear it or see it.
That's true.
I think that is an important version to show also.
I agree. It's something you rarely see. You rarely see it. And it's half the, not even half. It's like a good chunk of the time.
Yeah.
We 100% agreed. Just to talk about the show.
This is all about the show.
No, I meant like the specifics of the show. How did you feel? So I started watching a review, and do you know how to play shogi?
So I don't know if this is leading into a game, but
no, I have no game.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, oh, shogi's interesting, and then I decided to play shogi, a couple of matches of shogi.
I tried, but it was really confusing because all the pieces are written in Japanese. Like, I don't know which one's the rook because I don't read Japanese. They're all shaped the same.
But when you click on the piece, it tells you how it moves. Like, just like in chess, right? You click on the piece, it tells you like where you can move.
Maybe I was using a crappier website, but I tried to do the same thing and I was just confused.
I played like 3 matches. I won one of them, but I was on baby mode. I was just.
I also heard someone say it's harder. It's harder than chess because the pieces come back. There's just more variation.
It does seem harder than chess because you can like remove a piece from the board and like keep it or something like that is like a
When you capture, I think it goes into your little chest and vault, and you can pop it back on the board.
yes.
I don't know
Yeah,
the
I forgot
specifics of the rules,
I
but-
read the rules about it. I learned Shogi for like 2 seconds, so I could actually win one match against baby mode computer.
Well, it's also just interesting because I thought the show was gonna be about shogi, and it's like not at all. It like has no interest in like
Yeah.
letting me learn. Like when you watch that Go show, you learn how to play Go. When you
That's
watch
true.
Yu-Gi-Oh, you learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, I hard disagree.
You do.
No, you don't.
You
Do you
100%
remember
do.
watching Yu-Gi-Oh? It was
I 100%
2,000
do.
life points, which is wrong.
It was wrong.
None of the cards had the same effects.
That's because the card game came out after that. Because the show Yu-Gi-Oh used to be about shadow games, because I've watched season 0 and it was about something else. And there was a version of Duel Monsters that came out before the card game that we know. Now you're getting me in the weeds about it.
Uh-huh.
There was a card game version that was more like the show before the one that we played. And then they released the one they played. And then they updated the rules in the show to reflect the real rules.
But at a certain point, Yu-Gi-Oh was on forever. At a certain point,
Darren,
seen-
get out of here. Stop calling me out.
Darren has
Says
watched
she
a
watched-
lot of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Why?
Her brothers and stuff like anime.
And you know how to play? Well, wow.
She needs to learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, the thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is at some point, the anime and the card game were out.
Yeah.
So they could have made it right. And they could have made the rules correct in the
do.
anime. And
They
in
do.
like 5Ds or something like that. Like later down the line.
By the time
eventually
they
do
got to Battle City, it was pretty accurate.
that. I don't believe that. This
I'll
is
die in
this is
this cross.
revisionist history. I don't fucking believe this shit for 1 second.
Oh my goodness. You can literally get the Elemental Heroes just like Jaden played. The only thing that was wrong about that show is their decks always changed and had new cards you never saw before that would be right to the circumstance. But those cards existed and they played the way they played
Okay.
for the most part.
I will leave you on
Anyway,
this and
before
say-
you rail me more about Yu-Gi-Oh.
But also, I want to say that you're wrong because this show also has like 10 songs that were about Shogi and a whole episode that was about like them walking through the Shogi book and like this is how the king moves. This is how the
Marcus?
thing.
All those songs are different.
Yeah, each song was like I move like this. It
It wasn't the same song like 7 times.
No.
I skipped it after the first because I thought it was the same. It was very cute, and it was a good way of like explaining it a little bit.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't get you. Wait, hold on. No, hold on. Get off your high horse. You literally just said, Nick, the show teaches you how to play shogi. There's a you don't flip it know how.
I am the
So it did a
master.
bad job.
I won a
Hold on.
shogi match. How many shogi matches have you won?
I have nothing
I
to
learned
say to
enough to win one baby match.
I have nothing to say to you right now. That is revisionist history.
Oh, okay.
The only reason I brought it up was how interesting that the show, how important shogi is, but it takes such a backseat, which I find really interesting because, and I don't know if you have a different take, but it's because I think Ray doesn't care about shogi, which is wild, right? Like to deal with this character who like doesn't care about the thing they're good at and like almost like wants to rebel against it, but he can't because it's his livelihood. It was the only reason his foster dad looked at him. It was the only connection he had to his real father before he passed. Like there's all these like things on his baggage he's holding around because of shogi, but like at no point, at least in the 11 episodes, did he enjoy playing a single second of shogi, which is wild.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I agree. He has a complex relationship with shogi that I think is really interesting. I think that like everything
agree.
you exactly said, his life is dependent on this game. And I think from a young age, his life was dependent on this game, right?
Yeah.
Because there's the flashback where his family dies and then his dad was a shogi player. And then his rival then says, I'm going to
wild.
adopt you.
Yeah.
If basically like if you want to play shogi, It's like just like Shogi is involved. He's like, you like Shogi, right?
And he even says something like, I had to say yes or something, right?
He says, I had to say yes to survive, basically.
Yeah.
He says something along those lines. And so from that moment, his future was kind of decided that he had to play Shogi, be good at Shogi in order to live with this family. And then even within that family dynamic, we learned that he was raising his children to be Shogi prodigies, and he adopted his rival's Shogi prodigy. And then he basically had 3 Shogi prodigy kids in his house, and he was just like really raising them to be competitive. And in a way that really affected their family dynamic, that made the main character an outcast in that family. And if he didn't continue playing Shogi, he wouldn't be the shining star in that family that he was brought into, and he might be kicked out of the family. He might have to end up in an orphanage again.
I don't know if that's actually true, but I really appreciate the fact that as a kid, that is what he believed to be true. So the show says it's true. And maybe it is true.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, I think it's important. And it's something that I like about the show where I know I've been harping at, since everything's from Ray's perspective, it's like painted in a way that I don't love. But I do love the fact that since it's from his perspective, these things are true. These fears and trauma that he has about these things are just true in the reality of the show. Like, he would have been kicked out of the family. I don't know if he actually would have been kicked out of the family, but he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. OldManRom says it doesn't go deep into the rules. It's difficult because of the hard pieces, but the show is interested in how a shogi pro and even a baseball player think about their game. Oh, we got to talk about that. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Ray isn't the only shogi player, but yeah, a lot of them have different attitudes. Oh, yeah, that's also something. Yeah, thank you so much, OldManRom. All the attitudes. I did like that. I think it was slow to get there. I didn't love our journey, whatever. But I did like that we found all these different philosophies about the game.
Yes. I did like
super
that a
interesting.
Lot. Yeah, because people get into it for different reasons. The same thing with anything, especially if you're competing at a tournament level. People are into it because they're of whatever reason, but eventually they're all passionate about this thing.
Yeah, and it's also, I don't know if you ever watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan.
No, I haven't watched that one yet.
I love that because it was some of the best insight I've seen in Michael Jordan, and like. There's Magnus Carlsen in chess. There's Michael Jordan in basketball. There's Tiger Woods in golf. There's Serena Williams in tennis. That level, they think about things in such a unique and different way that we could almost never understand. And this show is grappling with how a competitor thinks about things. Right. And I love that baseball scene where he finally like almost had a friend for a second, where it was one of the only times of hope I had in the show that I've been hopeless the whole time.
Oh, no, for Shogi. Yes.
Yeah. Where there was the basketball player or the baseball player. Sorry. And they were talking about how they view the game. And there was this moment of like, oh, we're the same. And that was pretty beautiful and pretty great.
I really did like that.
Yeah.
I also thought it was
special.
Cute because I feel like the sister in that found family he has a crush on the baseball player. But when the baseball player comes after they had that initial conversation, they both are blushing.
Yeah.
I thought it was just really cute.
That was one of the moments where I legitimately just loved them coming together and the interaction between all of it. I thought that was just pitch perfect. Because that competitor thing is such a hard thing to like explain. And they almost don't even explain it. They almost explain no one gets it.
Yeah.
And they're like, but that was enough.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, have you competed? You've competed in tournaments for stuff.
Yes, but never to, well.
Like Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff, right?
I mean, improv and acting is kind of competing.
That's
true.
What I mean, you have to audition and you have to join the team.
You have to actively be better than other people.
That's true.
There's an amount of ego and narcissism that's involved in being a champion. That's also involved in being an actor at that level, at the level that I'm trying to get to. Yeah, I've never done it though with a sport, because I've never. Like, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I went to regionals, but we just went to regionals. I didn't try to win. I just liked playing. And most of the time for games and things and sports and stuff, I like playing. You've played things with me.
Mhm.
I like to lose too. I'm
Same.
trying to win, but like it's just the like, oh, this is fun. It's not like I need to win
Yeah.
for my being. So I've never felt that way about anything sports wise. You competed in chess for a minute, but you didn't have that, which is why you quit, right?
No. It's a
Oh,
long.
no?
It's a very. I don't know if I've. It's depressing, but let's get
Oh,
into it
okay.
because that's what the whole thing is. So
If you want,
whatever.
I know the funny story you tell.
Yeah. Right.
Well, the funny story is you played against adults. It was too hard, and you were like, "Fuck this shit."
Yeah. So that's not really what happened at all. But
Oh, wow.
basically, chess.
Your life's a lie.
We'll start from the beginning. I
Okay.
grew up playing chess. I went to a lot of tournaments. I played in nationals, but the simple thing was at a certain point, I couldn't afford to go to tournaments because they cost money.
Yeah.
My school was paying for them. And when my school stopped paying for them, I didn't have enough money to continue going to tournaments. It was like $50 a tournament. And my family was like, no, we can't afford that. So I had to quit playing chess basically on that level in tournaments. So I still played with my brother, and then eventually like just playing at home, like with most things, if you're not competing with friends or anything like that, it kind of just fades. So
Oh yeah, chess, just like anything else, it has to be everything.
Yeah.
If you want to play at that level.
yeah, so
Wow.
it faded for me. And then
That sucks.
I've been playing casually since then, but for a long time, chess was very, very important to me. Recently, I've been getting back into chess, and Daron, I was like, oh, I won. I told Daron, I was like, oh, I won another chess match because I've been playing online against people. And I was like, chess is very different. She's like, yeah, I noticed chess is very different for you. And I was like, to me, it's not a game. Like, it doesn't feel like a game to me. A game is fun. A game I enjoy. A game doesn't have stakes. A game, if I lose, I'm happy and I've learned something. But like chess, I need to win. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, and I'll get into it in a second. But I need to win, and for a long time, for me too, I really relate to this character because chess was also for a long time for me about survival. Like growing up, I grew up in an abusive home, and I wasn't really allowed to go out and leave the abusive home or do anything. But the one thing I had was chess. So I could go to chess tournaments. I could go to matches, and those would be like one day that I didn't have to spend at home in an abusive situation. So the stakes were high because if I lost, I would be kicked off the team, and I wouldn't get that brief reprieve from being at home. So chess became this like insanely important thing to me where the stakes were like insanely high because I needed to continue playing so I could escape. And so I kind of relate to the main character in that way where I get it. I get something being so important that you have to win and that you have to continue. And the way he doesn't want to be demoted, I felt that way. Like I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to be kicked off the team. And till this day, I still feel that way about chess. It's very hard for me to play a casual match of fun chess where it feels like the stakes feel the same because that kind of like trauma and stuff like that kind of just lives in your body. And that's why sometimes you get defensive about things or react to things without knowing why you're reacting that way. Necessarily, you have to take a step back. So I've had to kind of like, I've been slowly playing chess again, playing on chess.com and stuff to try to get back into it, but also being very patient and forgiving with myself if I feel like I need to take a little break from it and until the stakes aren't so high again.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. That was super insightful. I didn't know most of that, and thank you for letting me and everyone else. This is not a private platform; it is a public one.
That is true.
But yeah, I think, wow, I just kudos to you for having the strength to look back, the wherewithal to be insightful, and the patience to give yourself the grace that you need to be able to do that. I'm really proud of you, man. That's really big.
Thanks.
You know,
I appreciate that.
especially for something that's so ingrained in like I forget what the title of the book is called. The Body Keeps the Score, right? That book where it's like that trauma, it does live in you. Like you describing it as almost like it actively does,
Yeah.
right? Like it
Yeah.
really stays there. And I think I get what you're saying about Ray now, where it's like it's so complicated, it's so ingrained, it's so coupled with his trauma. And clearly Ray has things that we are not qualified to prescribe, but might be things like PTSD and trauma and anxiety and depression and all these things. And so interesting how it can be coupled with something so everyday, like a game to most people.
No, 100%. And the fact that like I feel like this anime needs to end with him going to therapy.
Most do.
That's true. I just feel like if I understand, like, it's going to be a big happy family moment. And he's like, yeah, maybe I do need to like change or grow, or I don't know what, or I don't know how the anime is going to end, but he needs to go to therapy at some point to really like get in there and help.
Yeah, he won't. He'll probably live with these things forever.
But then that'll be the anime that you want, where he's just a sad boy alone.
I would also like the anime where he goes to therapy. That also sounds great. I just wasn't there for this ride this time. That being said, like the place by the time we watched to the 11th episode, which is right after Christmas into New Year's, and it's finally starting to do some interesting things because I really did not expect the sister part. What an interesting dynamic relationship thing happening there that I actually don't have any personal, like the rest of the show, the reasons it pissed me off were like deeply personal and like things that I've gone through that I did see or didn't see or yada yada in the show. The sister thing, for me, so unique and different. Like his foster sister who literally traumatized him is seeking companionship in her own twisted way.
I don't know. That was demented.
But also, does he love her? But also, does she love him? But also, they actively hate each other. But also, like, she touches his face. But also, like, he wants to, like, beat her up. Like, this is weird.
So we have a whole stepsister not stepsister, I guess foster sister situation that is like, okay, it's the feelings are complex for sure. But I think my problem with that whole relationship is I can't tell where the main character, if he wants it also or doesn't want it. And this is like bad touching.
I'm sorry. It's troublesome because the fact that the main character doesn't feel anything, we don't know how he feels. Weird take. Hot take there.
Most of the stuff I'm fine, but when it comes to consent, I'm like, I kind of need to know if you like this or not. Like, I kind of need to know.
And I think the show's doing that on purpose, right? Because I don't think he knows, right?
That's
like,
true.
I mean, 50 Shades of Grey is a bad example, but it's the only one that comes straight to my mind when you watch it because
50 Shades of Grey should never come to your mind first for any example of anything.
I watched all 3 movies. It's a great movie. It's great films. Good time. Came out on Valentine's Day 3 years in a row. But Dorian Gray has a weird, twisted relationship with his abuser. Like the reason he is the way he is because of his first abuser, which is a woman that was friends with his parents that is still in his life. He still goes to her for comfort and for clarity and for guidance. She's his abuser, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think he knows, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
You know,
complex relationship.
Abuser and abusee relationships are oftentimes very complex, and honestly, you just don't know.
Yeah,
you know,
and a therapist would help out. Yeah, therapist would help out a lot with that. Yeah. We should there should be an anime about a therapist. I feel like that doesn't exist.
Ooh.
Give me like the high stakes drama of like Yu-Gi-Oh with therapy. Like send people's traumas to the shadow realm. Like come on, it'll be fun. It could be quirky.
Are there any interesting psychiatric therapist characters in anime?
Okay.
On Reddit, said 11 months ago by Ganadamin LL1135. And they say Monster?
Monster.
Welcome to the NHK?
It's not a good example.
Perfect Blue is not about a
Perfect Blue is
therapist.
not a good example. These are
So
not
that was
good
bad.
examples at all.
Paprika?
Also not a good example.
Paranoia Agent?
Also not a good example.
All right. Okay.
These are
okay,
like
hold on.
psychological thrillers.
Kai Bio Ramun, kinda?
I don't know that one.
I don't know either. Leorio? I think it's a character.
Leorio's not even a psychologist. He's a doctor.
Ghost Hound?
No. These are bad. What is this list?
Pretty sure Toru Honda from Fruits Basket could be considered a licensed therapist with all the issues she had to sort out. Wow,
That's not how licenses work. You've got so much trauma, you're a therapist. That's not how that works.
Oh, somebody just asked here though, is therapy a thing in anime or even in Japan? Interesting.
Things to look up later.
I don't condone this, but I'm going to shoot right off of Reddit from Divine Prince 2. In
Okay.
Japan, bringing up the topic of mental health is extremely taboo, and most people only know very little about the subject. Psychiatric illnesses are treated more like bad personality traits that can be changed easily.
Wow.
People who have mental illness are ridiculed, ostracized, and treated as attention seekers, leading to Japan having such a extremely high suicide rate.
Wow. So I
And
feel
the
like
mindset, of course, extends into media.
I gotta say that boosts this up a couple of more points to like have when it's such
This is really
a
important.
weird cultural thing to have it be out there in the open, being like, this is what it looks like. It's
I would agree
important.
with that. Honestly, I kind of came into this like I've seen a lot of shows about mental illness and depression and anxiety and these things, and you're right. There's not a lot of anime, and this was that. Honestly, you're probably right. This show, you know what, Marcus? You're totally right. This show cured way more people's depression than I said in the beginning. You're totally right. Kudos to you. You are money on the button.
it's
Marcus
not what I'm
Berdeguez
saying.
says, March comes in like a line, might cure your depression.
And
Totally.
you heard it here first, guys. Don't go to betterhelp.com. They're not a sponsor. Go to
We would
just
love
watch-
that sponsor.
No, I don't know. I'm BetterHelp. Don't just watch. I rather like a local therapist fucking sponsor us.
Sean on the fucking corner.
Sean and Michelle, therapy at New York City therapists.
But I don't think we're quite done talking about the sister. What do you think what's going on with her? Like,
I think
through her mindset.
I think her mindset is that she is just a confused,
Yeah.
abusive person who doesn't know what she wants, but she's going to use and manipulate the main character for whatever she's feeling at the time.
It's part envy, it's part confusion, it's
Mhm.
part like, maybe she really, I mean, it was for all intents and purposes her brother, so maybe she does love him in a
Yeah.
weird way, but it's complicated. Interesting. I think and hope that is dealt with more.
Yeah.
Because I found that really interesting and compelling.
Yeah.
Because again, I didn't know if I wanted them to break down and like trauma dump each other and like say everything they were feeling so it can be all about there.
Mhm.
Or I don't know if I wanted Ray to punch her out in the face. Like I don't know how I feel about it.
Oh, that's
know?
interesting too. I feel like
Like
that's
I don't know.
valid. That
Yeah.
as a viewer, you don't know how to feel about this situation.
Which I kind of like.
Mhm.
I kind of like. I when a show doesn't tell you how to feel, that is interesting.
I feel like it's interesting too because I don't think the show's trying to give you depression. Like sometimes when you watch sad content, it feels like they're trying to give you depression also.
Come, be traumatized with
Yeah.
us. Join in on the ache.
They just want
Yeah.
you to sit in it. And it's like, no, that's not what the show's doing. The show's just showing you like, hey, if you feel like this, other people feel like this too.
Yeah, it has a clear message. I think
Mhm.
it very much clearly feels like that's the message it's saying.
Yeah.
Like this is normal. This is here. This is happening. It could be anyone.
Yeah.
And I do like how all the other characters, it feels like all have their own thing too, right? Like the older sister is clearly being a codependent in the family, and she has been traumatized. The middle and younger sister are the grandpa, the other sister, the best friend. You know, there's like little things happening there. Like everybody's mental illness is like kind of like passing each other by and like seeing how they intermingle and connect, and which is pretty cool.
I mean, look, everybody,
which is true to life.
Everybody's got some.
Truly. And if you think you don't, you're the problem.
No, man, I strongly am like, everybody needs therapy. And so many people are like, I don't need therapy. And I'm like, okay, you definitely do. If you think
I've never heard someone sincerely say that out loud. Have you?
I've heard people say therapy's not for me.
Then they haven't found the right therapist, and they're not open to change. There's something happening.
Oh, 100%. They need to, but there are people out there who think they're perfect, and they also need therapy.
But to be fair, who the hell am I? Because I say the same thing about anime, and I just say, you just haven't found the right anime. So, what do I know?
Anime is hard. Anime is a little different. I watch a lot of new anime. Like, I'll watch the first couple episodes to try a new anime, and then just, it's not for me.
It's bad, so you'll stop.
Yeah. So I could see people not wanting to do that work.
You know what I read the first 2 chapters or first chapter of, because I got it as a gift for Christmas. I got the first 4 volumes of.
What?
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, cool.
I liked it. I'm excited to read more.
Have you been watching it?
It does. No.
I've been
reading
watching
the manga is my own. I've only read the first chapter,
Cool.
and I'm excited to read the first 4 volumes. That'll be my first exposure. Then maybe I'll watch it. It does dawn on me though how incredibly similar the beginning of that is to Chainsaw Man.
It is very similar.
It's very similar.
They go
There's a dark, shady group.
Different
I'm sure.
parts, but
the
Chainsaw Man
guy
is superior.
He gets a demon. In, they're fighting. There's a shady organization that fights demons, and then the main character eats a demon, and then he is part demon, and now he has to join that organization. Story as old as time.
Story as old as time. Every anime is the same.
Honestly, kind of. I mean, there's like
there's
with all media. There's like
anime.
There's groupings of anime, but everything's inspired by something else, right? You know, My Hero stands on the shoulders of Naruto and DBZ. Like that's just how it works.
Even Jujutsu Kaisen has a lot in common with Naruto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels that way. I mean, you got a demon inside of you, and the demon wants to get out.
Oh.
At least Chainsaw Man, the demon's like is friendly and cool and chill, and in Jujutsu Kaisen is more like Naruto, where it's like, oh, we're fighting for this.
Does he become best friends with them with a fist pump, and then
probably
they can
not?
control each
I'm
other?
gonna say no, not in this one. The demon seems pretty evil. At least with the fox, you're like, okay, the fox is gonna be chill.
I don't know. The fox was pretty evil at the beginning.
That's true.
He was categorized as such anyway.
Maybe he's chill. Who knows?
Remember when the one tail came, it almost destroyed the whole village. Anyway, we're talking about March comes in like Marcus. Any circling the drain final thoughts on March comes in like a line? Like
what did he think of the sisters? I guess we didn't talk about the sisters in the found family.
Oh, I'll let you go first.
I don't have a lot to say about them. I thought that they were very cute, and I like that their interactions with Ray. I thought that they're just really wholesome as a family. I like seeing little snippets of their lives and seeing that they actually really like the main character and that they like spending time with him, and that it didn't maybe necessarily start off sincere. It was kind of like, okay, here's another one of like my big sister's strays, but eventually, you know, it grew on me. And I think the family dynamic is cute.
I think some of it is a little grating. I don't find
I agree with that too.
I don't find the cats funny.
Are annoying. Yeah.
And some of the hijinks in the home are a little much. They remind me of what's that anime that looks very poorly drawn? It's just a short little guy and he always shows his butt.
Shin-chan.
Yeah. A little bit reminds me of that. And that's not my style of humor. But I will say, I do love the 3 sisters. I love the dynamics between each one. I love how they interact with Ray. And it gives us this insight that I think would be sorely missed in the show. Because those are our only moments of, like, connection. Because they are thrusting it upon Ray. Now, I will say, I do get annoyed because I'm like, Ray, just do something. Like it's like when I'm watching an episode of House and he's an asshole to everyone and people keep trying to reach out and then he never does it, and then I'm like, show, give me one. Come on. and I think the show almost does it with like preparing the meals with the one sister, taking the
Mhm.
one sister home from school.
Yeah.
Like there's peaks of that, but I know I'm just harping back to the same thing where I just want Ray to appreciate it. I want him to like acknowledge it. I want him to take a step towards it. I want him to take a step away from it.
Mhm.
Right? Like I'm okay with any action, but his inability to take an action stagnates the show a little bit for me. That makes me want for more in a negative way. Whereas I'm
Yeah.
not like, oh yeah, give me more. I'm like, come on, Ray, freaking do something,
Yeah.
bro.
I think that there's
You know,
something to say about a piece of media that isn't for escapism.
oh sure,
I
which
think
is tough.
I think that a lot of times we watch media, especially with so much going on in the world that is like taxing emotionally, to
Yeah.
escape and to get a brief reprieve from everything that's going on. And to watch something that is like a mirror of your own personal life sometimes can be hard to watch. And I think that
So many.
there are
Go
moments
ahead.
in the show that are kind of just like I enjoyed the show and I think it's important, but I think that there were moments where just like I don't want to spend my free time watching someone kind of go through what I was going through.
I think I agree with most people's reviews and comments that I've seen around this show that it is art, it is poetic, it is artistic, and it's very beautiful. And it does a lot of things really, really great. I literally described last week. I had a gig last week before that. You went to the week before that. We didn't record because I was depressed.
Mhm.
I actively still, I always will probably have depression. It's something I battle with every day. I always take steps to try to subvert it. But there have been times in my life where I have been Ray and I just can't get out of bed. And I'm an artistic guy. I'm a poetic guy. I like to write. I write all right. It's one of those things where I don't have the words to describe it, right? Because of how real and unexplainable the feeling is.
Mhm.
Like metaphors never seem to do it justice. Like it feels like you're a heavy rock in a pond that can float to the surface. You feel like you're a hamster in a wheel that's running through
Mhm.
and it looks like, and you forget that you're even in a wheel. Like there's so many metaphors that people
Yeah.
use and none of them ever seem apropos. So I can never do that, but this show is doing that. And that is really
Exactly.
cool. And it is really cool to see
Yeah.
as a specimen of this thing. But I think you hit the nail on the head. This is not escapism television for
No.
me either.
Yeah.
And I think there would have been a moment in time in my life where I would have watched this and it would have helped me.
Mhm.
I would have saw something in it.
Yeah.
I might have seen hope.
Yeah.
But now at the point I am right now and where I'm like actively taking the steps, where
Mhm.
I'm like actively doing the work, it's hard to watch a show where the person's not doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Anything else?
I'll say this about the show too, that the show is like kind of like you said, it's so hard to explain emotions and concepts like depression and stuff like that to people. Like people
Yeah.
know, but they don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that when
And they're
can
all different, right?
yes.
Sorry to interrupt. They're
Yeah.
all
And
so
when
different.
but when you find a piece of media that can do the job for you and you can show someone be like, this is kind of what it felt like. Like I have stuff like that too, where it's like hard to convey some of the like abuse that I went through. But like, oh, like if you watch this piece of media, that fear that you feel when you're watching, it's kind of like the fear that I felt constantly, like stuff like that.
Mhm.
That I feel like I've used in my own life to convey how things were for me. That I feel like this show could do for somebody else who is going through this and being like, I watched this show, watched the first couple episodes, and you'll kind of gives you a good vibe of what I'm going through.
Yeah. Sorry, at the tail end of that, I stopped listening because I had this image in my head because I looked at Ray and I thought of the story you shared earlier. And I was like, oh man, different circumstances. Marcus like literally could have been Ray. Like literally. Like, God forbid anything tragic ever happened to anybody, but like one accident away, you literally could have been
I could have
this.
maybe
You could have been Ray.
if my chess coach had like adopted me or something like that, and then
Yeah, and like if you were doing this well, I mean, you're a really smart guy, and you're like really creative. Like the two like things you need for chess, and you're really good at like pattern recognition and all the things you need. Like I could totally see you having like being a young grandmaster and like really like, especially
Thank
if
you.
were like
Boosting
Ray
my
and you,
ego up, baby. Boost that ego up.
well, I don't even know if that's really what I'm doing, but like, yeah, if everything went wrong for you, you maybe could have been a chess champion. Yeah, great job. Really boosting you up there. But yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, that thought just dawned on me.
Yeah.
So, Marcus, did you like March Comes In Like a Lion?
I did.
Wow.
Nick, did you like March Comes In Like a Lion?
I don't know. I have such a. I came in ready to freaking pounce.
Uh-huh.
I had to
I felt
like, and I really changed my mind throughout because talking about it because I realized how personal this story is to me. And
Mhm.
gosh, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I need to sit on it more.
Okay.
Marcus, are you going to continue watching it?
I don't know. I'm on the fence. I think that it's hard because time is valuable, and I think my free time, especially, I've been more precious of. So spending it watching someone be depressed is kind of hard. But I kind of want to know how the story ends, so I might read a Wikipedia page about it or something. I want to know how it
Ridiculous.
ends. I want
Sure.
to know what's going on. Are you going to keep watching?
I'm in a similar boat. Time is precious. I work a couple different jobs. Might be applying to a new one soon, and I don't know if I got the time for this. But I will say, I kind of feel like, especially talking now about how personal the story is to me, I might need to know how it ends.
Mm.
So I might need to finish at least the first season, right?
Yeah.
But it's so long and tedious to show. It's like, oh, maybe I don't like it. I don't know.
It's
like
hard. It's just hard. It's a hard watch. It's a hard
I
watch.
enjoyed having watched it.
Mhm.
I did not enjoy watching it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I see that. I see that.
You know, I'm glad I did. I
Would
want
you
to watch
recommend
more.
the show?
Gosh, hell no. There's no
What
one
do
I
you
would
mean no? I feel like if you
Uh-oh.
could, if I could go back in time, I would recommend the show to myself.
It's so specific.
Or people like me. I feel like there are teens out there that I think I should watch the show.
But here's the thing for me, which is why I don't think I will. Is there, and I haven't seen it yet, is there something in this show that doesn't, that movies like A Silent Voice doesn't do in a more succinct way?
I think the more realistic portrayal of depression, and that it depends how it ends. Because if it doesn't have an answer and he goes to therapy, sick. Recommend the show. If he just magically fixes it somehow, then I don't know if I'll recommend it.
What if everything happens? He breaks down a couple times. We didn't talk about that breakdown about how mad he was at the bad chess player, the old man.
Which
Or
old
no, it
man?
wasn't the old man. It wasn't the old man. It was the one that didn't want to go to his daughter's for Christmas or something.
Oh,
He
yes,
like ran
yes,
to the
yes.
park and like started crying about how bad of a player he was.
Yeah.
I should have mentioned that when you were talking about how it felt playing chess, because that was
Yeah,
like a good indication of it.
Anyway, would you recommend the show?
No.
No.
No, I just think there's more succinct ways
Okay.
to do this. Like, if someone asks me for a realistic portrayal of depression, this will be on the top of my list. But I told you this earlier. I don't need anyone to know what I'm going. I don't need camaraderie ship. I just need to fix it.
Well, not for you, for them.
Yeah, I don't know how to help them. Dude, I don't know if I don't think showing them a person not helping themselves is going to help them. They might find comfort in it, and if they tell me that, hey, I am depressed, and the only thing that will bring me comfort is knowing I'm not the only one out there, then yes,
Okay.
perfect recommendation.
Okay.
But if the question is like, I'm depressed and I don't know what to do, I send them to Silent Voice 10 out of 10 times.
Okay.
If they're an anime fan. If they're not an anime fan, I send them somewhere else. What?
Nah, if you have depression, we watch Chainsaw Man. That's the anime. Has
Honestly,
nothing to do
truly.
with depression, really, but it's just good.
Well,
It has to do with
what-
trauma,
It does, yeah.
the main character's not really depressed,
No, but it
It's
has
just-
to do with, I think, more relatable things than this does.
and it has cool chainsaw fights.
If you have depression and it has cool chainsaw fights,
if this guy turned into a lion and fought some guys, ooh boy, I would be so in it.
I don't even know what to say to you, Marcus.
He needs to get possessed by an ancient Shogi ghost, and then that would raise the stakes.
No, he needs to get possessed by an ancient therapist ghost. that would cement the show as fantastic for me.
That's the therapy anime. That's the therapy anime. Someone gets possessed by an ancient therapist ghost,
and he starts helping people.
That's
kind of fire, dude.
Sick.
That's kind of fire.
And then there could be cool anime fights of like the therapist fighting the people's like inner demons.
Their depression in their heads, and they're like monsters and shit.
Yeah.
The anxiety monster, the depression monster, the dissociative monster. Like during the therapy session, when he's talking, you can have that cool fight with the ghost and the thing as they're actually having this talk. Oh, OldManRom's not a fan.
It's a bad idea.
I'm just saying, they sit down for therapy. He talks about them.
Oh shit, you're right. Wonder Egg Priority was that. Oh my god. What? He's 100% right. I watched Wonder Egg Priority. It wasn't good.
Oh, what was it?
So Wonder Egg Priority is about these little girls that fight trauma. They all have been through something bad, and then they fight trauma. And it started off okay. And then I stopped watching because I was like, this sucks.
Can I be honest? Looking at the images for it, this sounds right up my alley. It looks like I love it.
But in Wonder Egg Priority, there was no therapist. And that's kind of our main point. Like, you can battle your inner demons and monsters and trauma, but without proper assistance,
Marcus,
doesn't stick all the time.
The main girl looks cute with blue hair with a yellow hoodie and a blue and a yellow eye. This sounds right up my alley. And she's fighting like trauma monsters.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're helping each other with their traumas.
And they're going like inside of each other's heads?
I don't know exactly the like in-world explanation for it, but they were the simple version of it is.
Can I be honest?
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally gonna watch this.
Oh my god! Okay, well, if you like it, recommend it.
Thank you,
I'll finish
OldManRom, for the recommendation.
He said, just don't watch the ending.
Sorry, really good, just like you said. Mm-hmm. All right. I'll honestly, who has the time to watch more than a couple episodes either? I'll watch a couple episodes, think it's fire, move on with my life, and that will be
hell yeah. In your head, you'd be like, oh, I watched a great anime.
Oh, Wonder Egg Priority, that was fire. Yeah.
You never finished it.
All right. Marcus, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everyone for joining us on twitch.tv/NowTryThisCast, where you can catch us every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have an Instagram. We do have podcast reviews, all that stuff. But the real way to join the community and to join our Discord is at patreon.com/NowTryThisCast. That is where you need to go to vote. Voting is currently open. You still have time. And if not, just jump into next month. We have a great time. We would love to see you there. Thank you so much for being here now.
Hell yeah, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We also, starting a Discord, slowly but surely. Some people have joined already, and we'll be posting about it everywhere. So just check that out as well. Thank you guys for joining us. We love you. And good night. Remember to go out there and try new things. Fucking do it. Good night.
Friends get together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we
I feel like my forehead looks extra big today.
Realized that I have a big forehead, and not like recently. It's such something that I've
look
learned.
How big. When I put my eyebrows down, just look at like just my forehead. Look how big it is.
Where is the resting place of your eyebrows? Like naturally.
Right above my glasses.
Yeah, it's right here for me. Look at this.
I think mine's bigger, dude.
That's forehead. That's big forehead.
Look at that. That's big.
Yeah, yours just looks a little bigger.
Yeah. You got a big forehead right now.
Oh man, big forehead boys.
Big forehead boys.
If we get caricatures of ourselves, it's just gonna be forehead.